Welcome to today's lesson. Today we shall deal with clauses. Today is the part 1 of clauses. Now before we enter into the discussion, let us first look at the examples given here. I know where he lives. Look carefully. I know where he lives. I know the place where he lives. I shall go where he lives. Now you see all these portions are underlined. Where he lives, where he lives, where he lives. And this portion has been demarcated from the previous portion with a slash. You see the slash here and see the portion before this slash mark. I know it is marked A. I know the place. It is also marked A, and I shall go. It is also marked A. Now let me clarify the point. Now you see where he lives, where he lives, where he lives. You see that same word introduces three different clauses. Now what a clause is, we are coming gradually. Now you see where. Now all these sentences begin with where. Now the same word introduces three clauses. And the underlined portions and the underlined sentences are dependent on the preceding parts of the complete sentence. You see, I know, I shall go where he lives. Now if you do not say I shall go, where he lives is meaningless. That means this portion is dependent on this portion. Similarly, where he lives is dependent on this portion. Where he lives is dependent on this portion. So part A is the integral for the complete sense of this second portion, which is say part B. So the underlined sentences are dependent on the preceding part for complete sense. Now next important point that is to be observed is that underlined portions are called subordinate clauses. Subordinate clauses, that means where he lives. Now in all the three sentences, you see that where he lives, where he lives, where he lives. Now these are called subordinate clauses. But you have to note the difference. They are subordinate clauses but with a difference. You see, in the first case, you see that where he lives. This is the object of the verb know. Verb know is a verb and its object is where he lives. So subordinate clause here functions as an object of the verb know. So it's a noun clause. Now where he lives, you see here, it describes the noun place. It is called an antecedent, so it's an adjective clause. You have to say, you have to identify that it is an adjective clause. Now look at the last sentence. I shall go where he lives. Now this part, where he lives, modifies the verb shall go. It tells us the place. So it's a subordinate clause, but since it functions as an adverb, we say it is adverbial clause. So the clause where he lives, same here, but function is different. In the first case, subordinate clause, it's a noun clause. In the second example, second sentence, it's an adjective clause. You see, in the first sentence, subordinate noun clause. In the second sentence, subordinate adjective clause. In the third sentence, subordinate adverb clause. But in all the sentences, part A is called the principal clause or the main clause or the independent clause. These things, it can stand on their own. If you say I know, it can stand on its own. I know the place, I shall go. So these parts are not dependent on the succeeding parts for clarity or for making complete sense. They are independent. That means they are not dependent on the subordinate clauses. Hence they are called principal clauses or main clauses or independent clauses. So what a clause is, we define clause in this way. It's a sentence within a sentence. Where he lives. It has a subject and predicate of its own. And the kind of clause depends upon the work it does in a sentence. So you have to be very, very careful. The same clause can be used as a noun clause, as an adjective clause, and also as an adverbial clause. You have just seen the example. So you have to identify the work it does in a sentence to identify the clause. So clauses are three types. You see that you see here principal clause, subordinate clause, and coordinate clause. Now subordinate clause are of three types: noun clause, adjective clause, adverbial clause. Now let me give you an example. Look at the example below to become more clear. In the example you see the tiger growled. It is marked A. When it saw the deer, it is marked B, which was grazing nearby, it is marked C. Now you see the tiger growled. The tiger growled. It is principal clause. Why? Because it can stand on its own. It does not depend on any other part for its meaning. So it is a principal clause. Now next part, look at the next part. When it saw the tiger, it says the time when. When did the tiger growl? When it saw the deer. That means it modifies the verb growled. So it's an adverbial clause, part B. And look at the part C, which was grazing nearby. Which was grazing nearby. Now which here refers to the deer. Noun. Hence it's an adjective clause. So part A principal clause, because it has a meaning of its own and it does not depend on any part of the sentence. Part B adverbial clause modifies the verb goal, and part C adjective clause describing deer. So, and one thing is also to be noted that when and which used in the sentences, when and which are called subordinating linkers. I think you have understood what a clause is, and you have to remember that the kind of a clause depends upon the work it does in a sentence. And you have also seen that the same clause can also be used as a noun clause and as an adjective clause, as an adverbial clause. So be aware of this. I hope you have understood the lesson. Thank you very much.
For testing your understanding of this lesson and more videos, please log on to www.teamlessons.net.